Here's the question you may never have asked yourself. How does sound goes from the left earbud to the right one? This question has caused a lot of concern, and some people claim that whatever happens between those two earbuds will give you cancer.
This is why you should start wearing your AirPods immediately.
Because earpods are radiating your brain.
And your AirPods generate high-frequency electromagnetic fields that far exceed the authorized thresholds.
So, I've got good news and bad news. The good news first, there is no scientific evidence backing those claims, but honestly, it's not stupid to wonder about it. Quite a few experts actually take the concern seriously. The issue is that electronic devices emit electromagnetic fields, invisible energy zones that wireless technology uses to transmit information. Technically, these are radiations constantly emitted and absorbed by the biological tissue of the skull, the brain, and the body in general. Now, the word sounds scary, but radiations isn't necessarily dangerous. It's simply energy traveling through space. The radiation emitted by phones is low intensity. It doesn't have enough energy to ionize atoms or damage DNA. How do we know that? Because for 20 years, studies have tried to establish a link between phone use and cancer, and no scientific proof has been found. In 2020, the FDA published a review of 125 animal studies and 75 human studies and found no consistent pattern linking these waves to tumors. In September 2024, a systematic review commissioned by the WHO found no association between phone use and brain or head cancers. And despite the explosion of wireless technology over the past decades, we haven't seen an increase in brain cancer rates. The only known effect is thermal effect. Prolonged use close to the head can cause a slight rise in brain temperature, minimal and harmless to health. So that doesn't mean the risk doesn't exist. It just means that in 20 years of research, nothing has been found. And if nothing has been found for phones, there's even less chance we found something for earbuds. Why? Because earbuds emit even fewer waves. A phone needs to communicate with towers kilometers away, while earbuds only needs to connect with your phone, sometimes just a room away. What actually happens is that the phone sends a Bluetooth signal to only one earbud. Then the earbud usually communicate with one another using a protocol with even lower intensity, further reducing the energy absorbed by biological tissues. So that was the good news. Phones are not giving us cancer, and wireless earbuds even less so. Now, the bad news. The popularity of this radiation debate is hiding a very real danger. Our earbuds are slowly making us deaf. According to the WHO, more than half of teenagers and young adults are regularly exposed to dangerous sound levels, and over 1 billion people could suffer hearing loss. That means struggling to follow conversations on a cafe terrace, having trouble hearing high-pitched sounds, or developing permanent tinnitus, a constant ringing in the ears. That's not normal. Hearing loss is natural. You hear fewer frequencies at 30 than at 20. That's called aging, and it's fine. That kind of loss is imperceptible and doesn't affect daily life. But around 65 to 75, hearing loss becomes disabling for about 1/3 of people. What the WHO highlights is alarming. One young person out of 2 is at risk of early hearing loss. Between you and me, one of us is going to be affected. Why does this happen? I will spare you the miracle of hearing lecture. Just know this. In the inner ear, there are hair cells topped with stereocilia. These tiny hairs are our hearing capital. When sounds enter the ear, it's just a vibration wave hitting the eardrum and moving the fluid surrounding these hairs. The back and forth motion creates electrical signals that the brain interprets as sound. It's amazing and fragile. The louder the sound, the stronger the vibrations. That can bend the hairs and they take time to straighten back up. But if the sound is too loud or lasts too long, these cells can break. The good news, we have thousands of them. The bad news, they don't regenerate. Once they break, they are gone forever. Hearing loss is irreversible. When you lost these stereocilia, your inner ear becomes less sensitive to sound vibrations, especially weaker ones. That's because the hairs responsible for high frequencies are located at the end of the ear and are hit first. You start losing high-pitched sounds, bird sounds, phone ringtones, alarms, and parts of speech. Consonants like S or F become harder to distinguish, especially in noisy environments. Imagine how disabling that is. The root cause lies in our lifestyle. On average, we listen to music 3 hours a day, mostly with earbuds or headphones, and that's just music. Add TikTok, podcast, calls, everything. If you do all that at full volume, your hearing is at risk. European regulations cap headphone output at 100 decibels with a warning above 85. That's good, but not enough. Those limits are based on workplace noise exposure, not personally sitting through earbuds. The HWO recommends 80 decibels. You might think that's only a 5 decibel difference, but it's huge. The decibel scale is not linear, it's logarithmic. 85 decibels is 3.16 times more intense than 80 decibels. You may not notice it, but your stereocilia do, silently suffering. And it's not just intensity, it's also duration. 85 decibels for an hour, fine. More than an hour and 45 minutes per day, your hearing is at risk. At 80 decibels, you can safely listen to almost 6 hours a day. You can set this limit in your phone settings. But again, not enough. Why? Because according to the WHO, the main cause of hearing loss in young people is not earbuds, it's their environment. City noise, subways, clubs, bars, concerts, cinemas. Our world is simply too loud. So how do we fight our environment? Ironically, with earbuds. We are just for making a more than 5 minute video talking about avoiding earbuds, and now the solution to our problem is using earbuds. Thanks to active noise cancellation, things have flipped. A processor constantly analyzes surrounding noise and sends an inverse sound wave into your ears to cancel it out. Not perfectly, loud noises still exist, but far less intense. AirPods Pro reduce noise by up to 20 decibels. That divides environmental noise intensity by up to 10, protecting your eardrums and letting you enjoy music without cranking up the volume. This matters because most people with hearing loss don't realize it. The loss is gradual, so they increase the volume to compensate and accelerate the damage. Apple has a plan for that. A 15 minutes at home hearing test using AirPods Pro. This is not a gimmick. It follows standard clinical tonal audiometry. The first goal is awareness. The second is correction. You can't reverse hearing loss, but you can amplify deficient frequencies. Exactly what medical hearing aids do. They capture sound and amplify them according to the user's needs. AirPods Pro will soon do the same for conversations, alarms, ambient sounds, music, movies, and calls. This feature has been scientifically approved by the FDA. AirPods are becoming a medical advice, and that's huge. Even people who know they have hearing loss often don't treat it. 75% don't. Why? Cost. Hearing aids average $2,000 in the US, and Sigma wearing a hearing aid. But AirPods, no stigma. Everyone wears them. It's normal, it's cool. Not perfect in every situation, yes. Seeing earbuds during a conversation raises questions, but it's still more discreet and socially accepted. Destigmatizing hearing health is a public health issue. Hearing loss is linked to balance problems, strained relationships, cognitive decline, reduced work performance, depression, increased heart disease risk, and higher dementia risk. Losing your hearing isn't just annoying, it can turn your life into hell. Earbuds are not the problem, they might actually be the solution. Thanks to have watched the video until the end. I hope the video was better than the previous ones. I'm still starting. Smash that like button, save the video if you want, share, subscribe so that we can meet again for future amazing videos. Thanks for your critics, it really helps me improve. Where is my accent, the quality of the video, the quality of the script, the veracity of what I'm saying, and all of that helps me improve my videos. Thanks for everything, and the future videos I will try to provide better contents, more valuable contents, and I tell you, thank you for those that subscribe, and yeah, it's touching.